Hey everybody, it's Root Beer, and I'm here with a shiny new product to open. It's a little bit too shiny, in fact. The glare is completely blocking it out, but it is the Jeweled Trial Deck. So, if you're clicking on this video, the title will probably say something like Product Review. Oh my god, I should have brought scissors for this. There we go. But, yeah, as I was saying, if you're clicking on this video, it probably says something like Product Review, because these trial decks are being billed as being very new player friendly. They've been dumbed down a bit so that new players can really get into the game and learn what's up. So, I convinced one of my friends who has never played Vanguard before to help me out. So they decided that they wanted to play the Lyons trial deck. I was actually going to go into that myself until they said that, so I instead went for Jeweled because it is the other one that is priced moderately reasonably as far as scalping goes. I unfortunately had to pay the shitty prices for this just because I wanted to get this video done, so I wasn't super interested in Jeweled, although I am willing to go with it now that I just have this trial deck, so let's crack into it. The first thing about this one, and I'm going to try and make this particular segment a little bit faster just because we want to get to the meat of the video, which is the new player experience, but anyways, the the boxes that this came in also function as deck boxes, so that's pretty nice. You know, getting into card games, there are a lot of things that you kind of need just to get started. You know, you probably need some sort of playmat if you don't want to just go on the bare table, especially if you're new and you don't know what all the zones are yet. You probably want to have sleeves so that your cards don't get damaged. And of course, you need a deck box to be able to transport everything around in, so it's nice that we're getting these. They're not the best quality, they feel a little flimsy, but you know, if you're brand new, you've just bought your first deck, then it serves its function, so we'll go very quickly. We, of course, have our 4 copied of Jeweled. 1 is shiny. We do, in fact, have a tutorial card. This is the big thing I was looking for out of these trial decks, is these simplified versions of cards that tell you how the game works. So, looks like these are explaining the ride deck. Then we just have this guy. And then, perfect, we have cards that explain how intercepting work. So we're going to put this here. I'm not going to go super in-depth on what any of these cards actually do. I have not read a whole lot of the Jeweled cards. Like I said, I'm not super duper interested in it, although now that I have it, I'm just going to play it. We have our Boost tutorial card. Perfect guards, those are kind of self-explanatory, and then of course we have all of our triggers. And because I haven't really been playing Dark States decks, I unfortunately do not have the, advanced triggers for the clan, or nation, but, you know, whatever. So this is just oh. Whoop. So, this is just all of the art and stuff for the box. We have these little coins here, so these tell you, what has extra power and everything, so if you have, a trigger activated, you can take one of these coins and put it on your card. That's pretty neat. You know, a lot of the time, us players just kind of use dice. I have no idea where my dice are, so we'll just leave that for now. Let me see, what is this? So, this looks like the play guide, so this is just telling you how everything works. Good, good. Always important to have that. Is this a playmat? It is a paper playmat. Perfect. You know. And of course, we have our expansion pack to upgrade the deck with. It's nice that these are also included, since these trial decks cost a lot more than the original start decks for D. You know, it's nice that we have a little more advanced material, so, you know, the paper playmat, the fighter's coins for all of the triggers and stuff. These tutorial cards are great. I'm so happy they decided to start doing this. I hope they maintain that in the future, and, you know, these expansion packs so that if you're not ready to quite make the leap into buying like packs, but you do still want to play better in your locals and upgrade your deck, you have these. And of course, you gotta replace these vanillas that just explain how the game work. And of course this promo, which, God, it sucks that this is a promo, but we'll have a separate discussion about that. So we're getting to around 5 minutes for this opening. I'm gonna cut this off here, and we're gonna go over to the actual meat of this video, which is the product review, where I play some games with my friend. See you there! Hello again, YouTube. I'm here with an exciting product opening again. Woo! I'm just gonna woo. So, I roped one of my friends, Chris, into helping me review this product because the whole point of these new trial decks was that Bushiroad dumbed them down to be easier on new players. Also, this is a different Chris. This is not Black Chris. So yeah, Chris, you have never played this game before, correct?
Yep, that is correct. Played other Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, but never Vanguard.
Alrighty, so since these trial decks were designed to, like, appeal to new players, the grade 3 boss units are kind of simplified down so they're a little easier to understand, and the deck also includes tutorial cards that kind of tell you some of the game mechanics, so why don't you crack open into your trial deck so we can kind of get your first impressions. I already opened my Dredjewel trial deck because I needed to confirm all of the contents were what I thought they would be, because just looking at it on the wiki, I wasn't 100% sure whether or not it actually had those tutorial cards. Thankfully it did, so this video can actually go as intended.
Alright.
I'm gonna just flip my playmat over so I can get the nice art. I don't need to know what all of this is. So that's going to be the start guide for the game, so that's going to tell you all of the basics. Oh my God, my cards are already coming out. So, since I already, like, cracked into mine, I've, like, sleeved up everything. I've replaced the tutorial ride line with, like, the actual cards from the expansion pack, because I don't need to learn the game, but you do, so there's like the start guide with all of the rules, and then you can also take a look at all of your cards there.
Yep. So, waifu deck?
Yes, waifu deck. You went with Leonore, which I was planning to go into just because I was already like testing it beforehand, and then you said you wanted yours. Also, I just put like the regular Dark States PG from the actual sets. I won't use the effect for the games that we're going to do, but I just put them in there because they were already sleeved up.
The art on these is pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's much different than anything I've played with other games.
Anime.
Yeah. Really nice.
Yeah.
And
so that's going to be an expansion pack. So one of the things they included alongside these TDs was like an expansion pack that had additional cards for you to kind of upgrade your deck with out of the box. So you don't necessarily have to go into the set right away. The main set for this is not actually going to be out until the end of the month.
Okay. So, I assume the big deck is just your standard deck.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use the entire deck in a game, or do you need to thin it out?
You do use the entire deck, so the way it works is like you have what's called a ride deck, so you have your 4 main cards that are kind of going on your Vanguard circle, so I would recommend you stick with that side of it that kind of explains the game a little bit for the playmat. But yeah.
Right side.
You can also like read the start guide, but I can also just explain the game to you as we go.
Nice art.
Yeah, the pretty art side.
Right. So what's the easiest way to do this? Just sit here and let me read? Or...
Yeah. Yeah, you can like quickly glance at the start guide, and then we can try to like shuffle up and try to play a game, see if after kind of reading that and kind of looking at all of the cards, whether you can sort of figure it out of the box on your own.
Okay, so your trigger unit cards are most akin to basically just spell cards or
Mm, I mean,
something equivalent.
we have actual spell cards, but
Okay.
yeah, like the way triggers work is like when you get them on a drive check or damage, they'll activate their like trigger effect.
Okay.
And we can talk about the over trigger later when we get into the expansion pack.
Preparations for card fight. Greet your opponent. Hello, Alvin.
Hello. Yeah, and if you have any questions about how everything works, you can always just ask me.
Yeah, so I know in Magic and in Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! You get pretty much a card currency. It just, it grows every round. Magic, you have your energy
Mm-hmm.
or your lands.
Yep.
What is the equivalent in this game?
So in this game, there are two resources. You have Counterblast and you have Soul. So the way the game works is that we're going to be attacking each other's vanguards, and every time you get hit, you will take a damage. So I will take a card from my deck and put it into my damage zone. And then you can take your damage cards and you can turn them face down. That is called a Counterblast. So that is how you pay for resources. And then the other one is Soul. So as you like ride up your Vanguard, you can see all of the cards kind of get piled on underneath your Vanguard. So you can take cards from your deck or any other place and put them into what is called your Soul, and that is another currency that you have. So if you were to remove a card from your Soul to pay a cost, that would be a Soul Blast. Have you played with Xyz monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh?
I have not.
Okay, so I can't really use that as a point of reference, but you understood what I was saying, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay.
Okay. I think I have a pretty decent idea, at least, of turn order steps. I think at this point it'd be beneficial to just kind of
Play the game.
learn
Yeah,
as.
and the back of these playmats have like a simplified version of the board that has like all, or I guess a more complex version of the board that has like a bunch of rules on it. So if you're not like 100% sure of anything, you can refer back to the board or you can ask me.
Okay. Coins.
Yeah, those are like little fighters coins, so those just denote like trigger power.
Okay, I assume I'm going to need to pop those out.
You can. It's nice to have something to just symbolize like power gain. I already popped mine out. Normally I just use dice for it, but I also just forget and have to spend like several minutes in a game recounting all of my cards. We have not posted a fight video on this channel in a while, so you probably haven't seen me doing this for a little bit, but I do have footage saved up. I guess I should just like upload that one of these days, huh?
Yeah. Four to go.
Yeah. Also, a nice thing about these products is that the box that they come in is also just a deck box. So you can use it to like hold your deck.
Pretty convenient.
Yeah. They're a little flimsy, they're kind of thin, but also a lot of their official ones are kind of flimsy if I'm being honest. I do have this one that feels a lot more solid and a little more rugged than this, but it serves its purpose, and you're paying like $15 MSRP for this, so it's nice that it includes the deck box.
Yeah, I mean, if it's meant for starting, it's just it's something to just start with.
Yeah. The Japanese version also got sleeves, which we never get in the English version, except for that like one time with Sanctuary Guard back in the other reboot that the game had. So yeah, we unfortunately never actually get the character sleeves, which sucks, because I think if you're going to be releasing a very expensive... I guess $15 is not the most expensive. It is a little more. I think trial decks are typically around $10, and at the beginning of D era, which is the current reboot of the game, the start decks were $5.
I mean, that's pretty reasonable,
yeah.
Especially compared to other card games. That is incredibly reasonable.
Yeah. So yeah, I think these are $15 MSRP, but I had to pay scalper prices for it, so...
Rip.
So yeah. So first you need to like isolate out your ride deck.
All right.
It should be pretty obvious from the trial deck because they all have tutorial pictures of how the ride deck is supposed to work.
How many cards do I expect in a ride deck?
4. So you're going. So you always start at grade 0, and every turn you're riding 1 grade higher. So you go up to 1, 2, and then 3.
Okay, so
and then you're taking one of your copies of Leonorn, the grade 3 boss unit, the cover card.
yeah,
And
that's what I was curious about.
That's the one you end on.
Because we got 4 of the same copy of a card. Here's
Yes.
a grade 3 card.
Did the start guide explain what persona riding was?
Very briefly.
Okay, so I'll just cover it when we get to it. So yeah, separate out your ride deck, and then you can like shuffle up the rest of it.
All right, I got my 4 cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and on the tutorial playmat, it looks like your ride deck just goes off to the side. Let's be honest, for all of us experienced Vanguard player, nobody actually uses like the intended trigger zone or anything like that. Like every time I do a drive check, I just do this. I've also gotten into the habit of like playing my cards sideways, so you know. I don't know if you've seen it on any of the videos we've done on the channel, but every time I play the game, I just put the deck like this because it's easier for me to draw.
Fair. Yeah. All right.
All right. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first, just for like tutorial purposes?
I think for tutorial purposes, you should go first. I'll observe. Right.
So we're gonna start with our Vanguards on the Vanguard circle. So you'll take your grade 0 in this case. Right, so we start off with 5 cards in our opening hand. And Vanguard does have a mulligan system, so you can take however many cards you want and put them back onto the bottom of the deck and redraw whatever you want. I will put 3 back. You're gonna have no idea what you want to mulligan, huh?
No, but it does definitely help having some knowledge on reroll, so I think it's okay to make an educated guess here on which ones to
So yeah, you'll put like a number of cards to the bottom of the deck, draw the same amount, and then shuffle.
Yep, so I discarded 2.
And then shuffle.
And shuffle.
Alrighty. So
read real quick.
Stand and draw. So the way the current D era works with the ride deck is like the way it used to be is you would just ride a card from your hand. Now instead we'll take a card from our hand and discard it, and then ride a card from our ride deck. So I will ride this guy. He does not do anything, and you can't attack on your first turn, so I will pass it over to you.
Okay, so the options we have: discard a card and ride.
Yes.
Or is that what's the play a card and...
Yeah. So you can only summon cards that are the same grade or lower than your Vanguard, so I would ride up.
Okay, that gives you more options for...
Okay. So you drop that. You ride up.
Yep.
And now, we'll play without the... You're playing the vanilla ride deck that like doesn't have any abilities, so we'll stick with not doing anything for now.
Okay.
So yeah, now you can call anything that's like grade 1 or lower if you wanted to. Okay. The starters do let you draw a card. So now you have the option to play anything that's grade 1 or lower.
Okay, so this swaps turns though, right? So it'd be
You
your
can,
turn,
yeah,
or it's still my
it's
turn.
still your turn. You can like choose to attack. So I didn't do anything my first turn because you can't attack on the first turn.
Right, but you can play.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you can like summon guys that are grade 1 or lower, and then you also have the option of attacking me. Oh. And just for the viewers at home, this is what one of the tutorial cards look like. So this one is just explaining how boosting works.
So they get played in the back row.
Yeah, you can play them in the front or back row, but the grade 1s and grade 0s have the boost ability. And so you cannot attack from the back row, but you can boost.
Right. Okay, so if I were to play in the top row, that can also attack now.
Yes.
Okay. Then we'll play that in the top.
Yeah. And so the way combat works is that your attack will hit if you have power that is equal or greater than my card's power. And then you'll see on the side all of the cards also have a shield value, so you can play cards from your hand to guard my attacks, and you'll just add the shield value of your card to the power. Or you'll add the shield value to the power of your card, and that'll be like the power you have to get through.
Okay. So after playing a card, I can now attack.
Yeah. Yeah, you always have the option of attacking without summoning anything, but yes, you can choose to go to the battle phase and attack me now.
Okay. And you currently only have your...
I only have my Vanguard.
With defense level...
Its power is 8,000.
8,000.
So your trigger in the front row probably will not hit me.
Right. So when revealed as a trigger, all front row units will gain 10,000
Yes.
attack.
Yeah, so what that means is like when you attack with your Vanguard, you're going to perform what's called a drive check. So the drive check only happens on your Vanguard. I believe somewhere on your mat there should also explain like what a drive check is.
From a drive check.
Yeah, so you'll reveal like the top card of your deck based on the number of drives that you have. By default, your Vanguard always has 1, and then grade 3s have the twin drive ability that lets you check twice. And so if you activate a trigger effect from your drive check, or if you take it on damage as well, then you can activate the trigger ability.
Okay, so since I've played it in the front row now, I cannot use it as a trigger.
No, it would not be a trigger. You're just summoning it as a dude.
Okay. If that is the case, am I limited to how many things I can summon?
No, you can summon as many times as you want.
Okay. Yeah. In that case, I'm going to end turn then.
You're not going to attack me?
I can't hit you, can I?
It's equal or greater, so your Vanguard can hit me.
Okay. I thought that if it was a tie
no,
didn't
do
anything.
You win ties.
Okay, ties go to the attacker. Got it.
Yes.
In which case, then I will attack.
Okay, so the way you attack is you would rest your unit, so you would turn it sideways. And then, since your Vanguard is attacking, you will perform a drive check. So I'm not going to guard this, by the way.
Okay.
But you would perform a drive check, so you only do this when your Vanguard is attacking, so the center dude on the big V circle. So reveal the top card of your deck.
Of your side deck?
Of your, like, deck.
Yeah, alright.
Okay, that looks like a trigger. What trigger is that? I have no idea what any of these cards look like.
I believe that would be a heal.
Okay, so you can read the text, but like the way a heal trigger works is all of the triggers will give you additional power, so you can choose one of your units to give 10,000 power to.
In which case, I will choose the one that is attacking.
You don't have to do that. So I would recommend you put it on your other guy. Because
Really?
right now it's not hitting, but if you put the trigger onto it, it becomes 15,000.
So it doesn't matter how far above the value you are. It's just if you meet or beat the
Yes.
power value. Okay.
Yes, see, I did not guard, so you don't need to assign the trigger to your Vanguard. It's already going to
I
hit.
got it. Okay.
So I will take my damage. It is a critical trigger, so I will give 10,000 power to my Vanguard. So your attack is no longer going to hit me.
Okay.
And the trigger goes to your hand.
Okay.
So yeah, when you drive check, the card goes to your hand.
Got it.
Alright, so I believe that is everything you are going to be able to do this turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's not going to hit because I'm at 18 now.
Got it.
So I am going to draw. Oh, let's see. I'll discard this. Ride my dude. Do you want to play with card effects or no card effects for this first game?
For the first game, I'd say no card effect.
Alright, so...
just to get the hang of the turn-based aspect of it.
Yep, that is no problem with me. So I am just going to ride to grade 2. I'm going to call this guy. Another tutorial card. This one is explaining the intercept ability, which you cannot see because of the glare. Alright, so I'm going to swing 10,000 to your Vanguard.
Okay, and then I would...
So, first I'm going to perform my drive check because it's my...
Right.
Because it's my Vanguard attacking. So, do you want to guard this, though? So if I were to check a trigger, this could go up to 20,000. So if you were to guard for more than that value, you could block the attack.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm not going to.
All right, no guard. So I will drive check. It is a heal trigger. So heal triggers activate, I can give something power, but then also if I have equal or more damage than you, then I can heal. So since I am currently at 1 damage and you are at 0, I will heal. And then I will give the power to my rear guard.
Okay.
And then now you would take the damage. Okay. No triggers, right?
No trigger.
Alright. I will attack for 20,000 to your Vanguard.
Okay, so how does the damaging work then?
So the damage is based on the critical value of a card. Most cards have 1 by default. If you get a critical trigger, it could increase the amount, but this one is just going to be hitting for 1 damage, if you take it.
Okay. And damage counter is basically the cards that are out here.
Yes.
Okay.
So once you take 6 damage, you lose.
Got it.
So yes, do you want to guard this? This is 20,000 to your 8.
No.
Okay, then you will take a damage. Okay, that is
again,
another
no trigger.
non-trigger. Alright, and I will pass it over to you. So you will stand all of your units, and then you will draw a card for turn.
Okay, do you have a limit on what you can hold? How many cards you can hold?
There is no hand size limit.
Okay.
This isn't Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, so now you can ride up to grade 2, so you can discard a card from your hand and take your grade 2 from the ride deck.
Okay.
From your ride deck.
Yep. Okay, level 2.
Yep. And now you can now summon anything that's level 2 or lower.
Okay, how does the intercept ability work?
Okay, so intercepting is a defensive thing, so
Hmm.
when I attack you, if your card is in the front row, you can take it from its circle and move it to the guard circle, and then you
Got
would
it.
apply the shield value that's on the side of the card here to your Vanguard's current power.
Okay, but that card has to be played
Yes, you
or
have to
on the
summon.
field.
Yeah,
Got
but
it.
when I'm attacking you, you can always just guard from your hand.
Oh, okay. It does. You don't. You can draw from your hand on the opposing
Yeah,
player's
I can.
turn.
So
Got it.
if you were to attack me, I could play a card from my hand to defend myself. So all intercepting is like I can call this guy as a body, attack with him, and then later on, if I need to, I can intercept and defend myself.
Got it. Okay, I'm going to play that.
Okay, is that a grade 1 or a grade 2?
That is grade 1.
Okay, so it is a booster.
It is a booster. And when something says in the same column, I assume it's just
Yes.
yeah.
So yeah, you're not. So yeah, you can't just be like summon this here. I'm going to boost my Vanguard.
Right. Okay.
Well, okay, you can because that's the gimmick of your deck,
That-
but we'll get to that later.
Okay. Then I'm going to attack again.
Okay, so what are you going to attack with? Remember, you have to
I'm-
turn your cards sideways and rest them.
Right. Okay. I'm going to attack this guy.
Are you going to boost it because it is currently
I-
not hitting anything?
Yep, I am going to boost it.
Okay, so you
With
have
this guy.
to rest when you're boosting.
Okay.
So yeah, when you're like performing battle actions, you typically rest the card so that it like doesn't
Got
perform
it.
again. So you are attacking for 13 at my 10. So I am going to guard that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And then are you going to attack with your Vanguard?
If I attack with the Vanguard, can they guard on the following turn, or are they just kind of dead until it's my turn again?
I can guard whatever attacks I want.
Okay.
Yeah, unless a card specifically says you can't guard for something, like you can usually guard an attack.
Okay.
Also, I would recommend always attacking with your Vanguard if you can, because you get drive checks.
Makes sense. Then in that case, I will.
Okay, so are you going to attack my Vanguard or my rear guard?
What are the values on both?
They're both 10.
I will attack. We'll go with the rear guard.
Okay, so drive check. Perform your drive check. Right, that is not a trigger, so he's dead. Ready?
Okay.
Is that everything?
That is everything.
Okay, I will stand and I will draw. This. So I will ride to my grade 3, which is Drejeweled. And I will call my guy. So, good thing I'm not actually using these effects. My cards don't do anything right now. So I will attack for 13 to your Vanguard. And then, now that I am at grade 3, you'll see they have the twin drive ability, which means I perform 2 drive checks. So I could potentially get 2 triggers.
Okay, explain once more the intercept. Units with intercept can guard by moving from the front row.
Yeah, so that only matters if they're
Guard.
on the board. If you're just calling it from your hand, you can call whatever. Unless
Got
something
it.
is specifically stopping you from calling a card.
Okay. Then what was your attack value? Or
Minus
power value?
13.
Okay, then I will guard from the hand.
Okay.
That's a armor of 15.
So that's 15, so your Vanguard is now 25. That is 2 triggers to beat it. So
Okay, so that value's additive.
Yes, I can add my
Okay.
trigger power to my attack.
No, I mean even the defensive one. So you're attacking the Vanguard, so I just play something with 15, so
Yes.
you add 15 to whatever's being attacked. Got
Yes.
it. Okay.
Okay, so this is a 2 to pass. 1 is a draw trigger. I will give the power to my rear guard, and I will draw. And the second check is not a trigger, so my attack does not hit.
Okay.
And then your shield goes to the graveyard. To the graveyard.
That is not the graveyard. That is the graveyard.
Mm-hmm. Right, and this guy will be 23 to your Vanguard.
23. I will take the damage.
Okay. So, reveal your top card. That is not a trigger. Alright, turn end.
Okay. Stand.
Draw. Right, so
Okay.
now you can ride again.
Yep. I will do exactly that.
Okay.
Okay. We'll be playing the Groovy Dragon.
Okay.
That down.
Trigger.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Okay.
So, what are you going to do now?
Again, what are your defensive values? I can't read.
Yeah, that's fine. So both of my cards are 13,000 at the moment.
Okay. Then I'm going to attack Vanguard.
Okay. So you're 13 to my 13. I will take this. So now that you're a grade 3, you perform a twin drive.
Okay. So 1, 2.
Okay, no triggers, so that is 1 damage. Damage check, no triggers.
And then I will also attack with the Prominent Elf with the boost.
Okay, so that is all to 13, right?
That is also 13.
And you're swinging at Vanguard or Rear Guard?
Rear Guard.
Rear Guard? Kind of want to keep that around. I will guard that.
Okay. And finally, I will also attack with the Groovy Dragon, also 13 for the rear guard.
You're not going to boost it?
Is this a boost card? It is a boost card. I did not realize that. Yep, so also boosting. Actually, is there any reason to boost it if it is 13 against 13?
You can make it bigger and it's harder for me to guard.
Got it. Then yes, we'll boost it.
Do I want... Yeah, I want to keep it around.
Okay.
Alright.
And
if you're good, I will stand.
that ends turn.
And I will draw. Alright, now I get to show off what a persona ride is. So, persona riding is when you ride the same copy of your Vanguard. So you see the little icon there. And so what happens when you persona ride is you get a continuous ability that your front row gets an additional 10,000 power for the turn. And so even if I were to summon something new, it would also get the 10,000. So that power is just continuous during the whole turn if I summon you guys to my front row. then it will still have 10,000, and then I can also draw an extra card. And then I will summon my guy. So this is going to be 23,000 to your Vanguard.
23. So I can take...
You're at 3 damage right now?
I'm at 3 damage right now. I could take this and use it to guard.
You cannot. It does not have the intercept ability.
Okay, so that's where the intercept ability comes in, is it has to be on the...
Has to be on the board in the front row, unless otherwise stated.
Got it. All right, then I cannot guard.
Okay. Do you have a Sentinel in your hand?
What would define as a Sentinel?
So it says Sentinel on it, but it would also have like this golden shield value with a 0 on it.
No.
Okay, so yeah, you probably cannot guard this. Right, so I will drive check 1. This is a front trigger, so my front row gets an additional 10,000 power, and drive check 2. So you take 1 damage.
1 damage.
Okay. Is that a trigger? Doesn't look like one.
Does not have a trigger.
Okay. So next, this is going to be 30,000 to your Vanguard.
30,000. I cannot guard.
Okay. Are you just going to lose here? So you would take another damage.
Most likely am, unless something gives me a good drive here.
Okay, and then this is going to be 33 to your Vanguard.
Again, nope.
Okay. Well, take your damage. Okay, so that's 6. You just lose.
Yep. How are you able to notice if it's a drive at such a quick glance? Without reading the abilities, how were you able to tell that it did not have a drive ability?
The trigger cards have an icon.
Trigger.
Triggers have an icon at the top.
Where would the icon be? Top
the top right. So you see where it has like the trigger ability there.
Yep, I see that now. So that's like a heal.
Yes.
Okay.
So in general, I would not recommend summoning your triggers because they are your biggest shield value.
Got it.
But yeah. So do you kind of get the basics of the game now?
I kind of get it. I kind of get the basics.
And did the tutorial cards like help you out at all?
Honestly, I didn't really get to many of them, I believe. But where were they? If nothing else, they were descriptive enough to get a good idea of what they did. But I wouldn't say that the actual tutorial cards themselves had much.
Yeah, and then did any of like the reminders on your actual like playmat help you out at all?
The drive check reminded me to do that every time. It has a nice note on how to do that. So that was pretty helpful. The explanations on all the abbreviations, just the activated ability, automatic ability, continuous, it's pretty nice to have right on hand.
Yeah. All right, so you want to try another game this time with the card effects?
Sure.
Actually, you should have you already opened your expansion pack?
I have not. The expansion pack is right here.
Yeah, let's open up the expansion pack and replace some of the vanillas then.
Okay. Is the expansion pack already predetermined on what you get, or is it a gotcha? Okay. All right. We got... Oh, nice hollow.
Yep. Which one was your hollow, by the way?
0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so in my trial deck there was like this card which is the grade 1, which also has a version in the expansion pack that is the exact same card, but with an actual ability. Where the heck is my expansion cards? So, the first thing I would do is I would replace your ride line with the versions of the cards that actually do something.
Okay.
So, like your grade 0 to all the way through your grade 1 actually like do things. So I would replace those. And then you can probably remove like some of your tutorial cards and just replace them with these cards that actually do things.
Ride deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, if you were to just like spread out all of your cards really quickly, I could probably try to help you figure out what to replace. So yeah.
How much of the card do you need to see?
Just take any of the like tutorial cards out. You can probably just replace them with what's in the expansion pack.
Okay, so any of the tutorial cards, it's these guys with the big notes on them, right?
Yeah. So you can probably just replace
Any of
those
the
with cards that
boosts.
like actually do things. So yeah.
Okay.
So you'll have. So yeah, you should have 4 copies of Biara, which should just replace the vanilla version of herself. So it's like a yellow girl.
Yeah.
With like flowers.
The yellow flower girl.
Mm-hmm. And then
There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. Got it.
you also have Clapping Dragon, which you can probably just use to replace 2 copies of like one of the grade 3s. Or 2 copies of like the guy that just tells you how intercepting works.
Those are grade 2 or
grade 2. They're grade 2s, but
okay, it doesn't matter.
you can like adjust the ratios as needed, but you know, for the sake of like making your deck do things, I'm just going to replace them with cards that, you know, do things.
Fair.
Shoot. What do you
Okay.
Oh, what will you take?
Should I replace
order?
Yeah, see, I have 4 of those intercept.
Yeah, just take 2 of them out and replace them with the Clapping Dragons.
Okay.
Do I want to have to explain what the overtrigger is? Because I feel like when I have to explain what the overtrigger is, like, that's the point where people stop wanting to play this game.
The overtrigger.
Yes. So read the overtrigger, and then I'll just like take it in. So that rainbow dude that you have.
Yep.
Yeah, just read that card for me. All
right. You may only have 1 rainbow trigger in a deck. When revealed as a trigger, remove that card, draw a card, choose one of your units, and it gets plus 100 million.
Yes.
Until end of turn.
Yes.
If revealed during drive check, activate its additional effect. Additional effect is choose one of your units, and it gets 1 million.
100 million.
100 million power until the end of the turn.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, that was... So you
That's
can
a
only
grade
have
0?
1 overtrigger in the deck, and they're stupid, and everyone hates them.
That's a grade 0.
Yeah. So it's a trigger.
Wow.
You know, so you would have to replace one of your like default triggers with it. So I would probably just... Do you want to play with the overtrigger or not? That's my first question.
I would say no.
Okay, good. I don't feel like dealing with the overtrigger. Because...
Is that a pretty common
Yeah, that's I'd say that was
hatred?
a pretty common response, but also because I have the like actual Dark States overtrigger for my deck, and it's very strong. So let's just not deal with that.
Okay.
You know, I'd rather not have this card randomly come up and just end the game.
That's fair.
All right, so you've made like a couple of quick replacements.
Yeah. These are the last two I had open.
Yeah, so those are order cards, so those would be the equivalent of Yu-Gi-Oh! Spell cards. So you can only play one of them per turn. I don't know if you want to put those in the deck or not.
For simplicity's sake, for right now, let's not.
Alrighty. So yeah, let's like clear everything off and like shuffle up, and this time we will play the game with card effects. I think I'll actually go second for this one, just because the starter actually does have an ability that only activates when you're going second, so it might be simpler to just like go with that. What do you think?
Sure.
Okay. Because yeah, now like our cards actually do things. And I'll just help walk you through what your card does, because I know what Leonorn's actual ability is, I just don't know what any of the trial deck cards do. Read any of them. True to card gameplay fashion, I have just not read any of them. And yeah, sucks that you can't really like shuffle them up well because they're unsleeved.
Oh, I'm one card short.
So you only have like 45 cards?
I have 45 cards, so that means I took one too many out.
Yep. Yeah, just put something back in. Is that like a trigger on this?
Over.
No. No, you don't put... So we're not putting the over trigger.
I know.
I'd not. So yeah, what did you get that was extra?
I just took one of the barriers.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You don't have like 5 copies of Barrio, right? You can only have 4 copies of a card.
Well, I probably do then. Yep.
Okay, so yeah, maybe just take one of the like intercept guys and put it back in.
Yep. That's what I was going to do. There.
This hand is actually pretty nice. But I'm still going to put 1, 2 back. One, 2. Okay, this hand is significantly less nice. Well, that'll happen. Sometimes you just mulligan and draw worse.
I think that's the bane of any card game.
Yep.
Sometimes the card is not in your favor.
Welcome to the magical realm of RNG. I hope you'll enjoy your stay, assuming you ever play this card game again.
I am a seasoned veteran of gacha games. I know the joys and woes of RNG.
Well, see, now you have to start buying booster packs.
Oh boy.
Alright. So this time you will start as soon as you mulligan.
You know what, I'm going to keep it.
Okay, then.
Yep.
So
All right.
then just...
Start.
Yep. Alrighty, so since you're going first, you would...
I still draw on the first turn, right?
Yes. This isn't
Okay.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
And cannot attack.
No, you cannot attack on your first turn.
Okay.
So you would discard something, ride from your ride deck. I'm just gonna like... Where is...
to discard and ride,
Mm-hmm.
and that'll be the turn.
Let me just make sure. Yep, your guy doesn't do anything yet.
Okay.
All right. I will draw. Discard a draw trigger. Ride my Vanguard. Because I am going second, I get to draw a card from the effect of my starter.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm just going to attack you with my Vanguard.
Okay.
Do you want to guard?
I will guard.
Okay. What are you guarding with?
Going to guard with Prominent Elf.
Okay, so that is 15,000 shield. I cannot break that.
Okay.
Right. So it's going to be your turn.
Okay.
So you'll draw.
Draw. Okay. I'm going to. Yep. Discard.
Mm-hmm.
Drive.
To ride. Oh.
Or ride.
Yeah. So your guy your grade 1 has an ability. So before you do anything, do anything else, your grade 1 has an ability. So when you ride on top of it with the grade 2, you can call it to your rearguard circle.
When this unit is rode upon by Brilliant Tune, you may call this card into the rear. During battle, this unit boosts a Vanguard. Okay, so you just move it pretty much straight back.
Yep.
Or it doesn't. Yep. All right. And now this will boost that. Got it.
Yeah, and it'll gain an extra 5,000 power.
Okay. Then I will play also Lively Rhythm Area and the Yield Elf.
Okay.
And I will attack.
Okay. What are you attacking with?
We will start with Vanguard.
Okay.
And
I will take that.
Okay.
Are you going to boost?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I will take that.
Okay. I will also attack with Area.
You need to do your drive check. You attacked with your Vanguard.
Oh, right. Okay.
That is not a trigger. Damage check. Heal trigger. I will give 10,000 power to my Vanguard.
Okay.
Do your cards do anything? Boosted hits. Your cards will not hit me, by the way. That is only 16,000 to my 18.
Right.
Right, so my turn?
I was going to attack again.
Yeah, but that one's not going to hit.
So that's a lasting effect, though. So it's not a...
Yeah, the trigger lasts for the turn.
Got it. Okay, then.
So, yes, I am going to be 18,000 now. So, it's my turn?
Yep.
Okay, I will stand, and I will draw. Let's drop you. I will ride my grade 2. When I ride my grade 2, I can pop this guy out. Place on rearguard circle. I'll look at the top 2 cards. Right, I'll call this. I'll use her ability. I will look at my top 2. I will put this into my soul and put this to the bottom of my deck. And I will start by attacking with my rear guard. So when it attacks or boosts, it gets 5,000 power, which would make it 13,000. And then at the end of battle, I put it into my soul. So this is going to be 13 to your Vanguard.
13 of the Vanguard. I am going to take it.
Okay, so take your damage.
No trigger.
No trigger. Alright, so... Let's hits I can soul. There's going to be 18 to your Vanguard, and if its attack hits, I can soul charge 1.
Define soul charge again.
So basic. Oh, right. This is supposed to go into my soul. So basically, I'd take a card from my deck and put it into my soul.
Okay. Then I'm going to defend against it.
Okay. So I am currently at 18.
Yep. So
that'll take you up to
25.
20. Okay.
Yeah.
So I will
20.
need. That should be 25, right?
It's defensive 15,000
plus 10.
On.
So that's 25.
Where are you getting the 10 from?
Your Vanguard.
That's. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're adding your shield to your Vanguard.
To the power of the Vanguard, not to the shield of the Vanguard.
Yes, you're adding it to the power of your Vanguard.
Okay.
So that is 1 trigger to break it.
Yes.
Okay. No trigger, so this does not hit.
Yeah.
Alright, pass it over to you.
Alright, stand, draw. Okay, I'm going to ride.
Mm-hmm.
Get that. This has the card that discard has ability. When this card is discarded from hand during your ride phase, you may call it to your rear guard.
Okay. Okay, and then your grade 2 also has an ability when you ride Leonorn.
Right. This unit is rode upon by unit Leonorn. It is.
You can Soul Blast 1, so you would take a card from your soul and put it into the drop zone. And then you can call a grade 1 or less card from your graveyard.
Okay.
So yeah, do you want to do that?
No.
Okay.
Okay, let me read the abilities of the grade 3 card.
Yeah. So if you need me to explain anything about how she works.
Yeah. So that auto ability is a lot to swallow there.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding is when it attacks, if I were to Soul Blast it.
Soul Blast 1.
Soul Blast 1.
Mm-hmm.
Any boost in the rear guard, I could use it all on this one card.
Yes, and then at the end of the battle, you can restand 2 of them.
Okay.
Which means they can boost again.
Got it.
Also, an important part of the cost is that you have to discard a card.
Yes.
And the other thing is, like, if you boost it with 3, it gets an additional drive, so you would drive check 3.
Okay. Cool. I think I get it. Then I'm also going to be playing Clapping Dragon. Then I'll go into attack phase.
Are you going to use Clapping Dragon's effect?
What does turning cards in the damage zone face up to face down mean?
Counterblast 1 is turning a card face down. So, when it's placed on a front row rear guard circle from your hand, you have 3 or more units in the back row. You can turn down a card in your damage, and then draw a card. And if I am at grade 3, which I am not, then the dragon would also gain an additional 10,000 power. So in this case, you could counterblast 1 to draw a card.
Okay. Then turning face down in the damage zone, I assume that just means that it can no longer be removed.
So you can still heal it, but you cannot pay cost with it again. It has been used.
Okay,
so you would have to turn it back up somehow.
Got it. Then
which
I will
is
use
called
it to
countercharging.
Got it. Okay. Then we'll go into attack phase.
Yep.
Attack with the Vanguard, and I am going to use uh,
Okay.
the boost on.
Are you going to use Leon? Okay, so don't forget to pay the
Do I do
cost
that?
for it.
Pay cost.
And you have to Soul Blast. So remember, your soul is the cards underneath your Vanguard, so you would take one of them and put it in the drop zone.
Okay.
Okay, so
Got it.
I am just going to take that because I don't feel like calculating how much power Leonorn has right now.
That's fair.
So you would perform a triple drive for this.
Okay.
1, drive check 2, drive check 3.
Man. Nothing.
Okay, that is 1 damage. Kind of needed that.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I get to turn 2.
Yes. Back up.
Back up.
And now you can boost with them again.
Okay. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'll attack with Clapping Dragon and boost with it.
Okay.
Or boost with Theodore.
And so that is 21.
21.
21?
21?
Yeah, it's 13 plus 8.
Yes. 13 plus 8.
And the other one's 16. I will take this one. Damage check, no trigger.
Okay. And then I will do
So I believe at the moment your cards don't have any effects because you're.
no.
So that would just that other column would just be 16 if you attack with it.
16 versus your
13 at the moment.
Yep, I will do that.
Okay, I will guard that for 18.
Okay.
All right.
And that will end the turn.
Cool. Stand and I will draw. That is pretty good, I think. I'll discard this. I will ride my Drajewald. And then my Great 2 is when it's rode upon by Drajewald, I can Soul Charge 1. And if I have 3 cards with different, 3 or more cards with different grades, which I do, I can draw a card. Oh my god. Stop drawing this guy. Okay, so first things first, I'm gonna call this, yeah, when it's placed on rearguard circle, if I have a guy with Drajewald in its name, I can Soul Blast 1, take a card from my drop zone and put it into my soul, and then he gets power plus 2,000 until the end of turn.
2,000, okay.
And then I'll call this guy. I'll call this, when it's placed on rearguard circle, I can Counter Blast 1, look at my top 3, put 1 into my soul, shuffle, and then if I have 4 or more cards with different grades, I can draw a card. So, in this case, I'll put this trigger into my soul, I will shuffle, and then I have 4 cards with different grades, so I'm going to be able to draw a card. Then I will draw 1. Okay, this is unideal. And then I will call this. So I will attack with my Drajewald. So Drajewald's ability is I will Soul Blast 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's needs to be 4 cards with different grades. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what happens is your power is reduced to 1, and then because you're at grade 3 already, I will also gain an extra critical, which means I deal 2 damage. So this is going to be 21 to your 1. And your Vanguard is at 1 until the end of turn.
Okay.
So if this hits, you are taking a minimum 2 damage.
Got it. Are you allowed to stack guards?
Yes, you can call as many cards from your hand as you would like. If
Okay.
you have a card with the Sentinel ability, that would be very helpful right now.
Great. Got it. Then I am going to guard with. Wait, sorry. What are you? What's the power?
You are at 1 power because of my
Yeah. What is
ability.
your?
Mine
Yeah. What is
is
your?
21. So you need at least 22,000 to block the attack, and then there's still the potential for me to check triggers.
Yep. I'm gonna take it.
Okay. So, drive check 1, no trigger. Drive check 2, heal trigger. I will heal 1, because you are at 1 damage right now, and I will give 10,000 power to this guy. So you will take 2 damage here.
Okay. No trigger. And critical trigger.
Okay, so you can give your Vanguard 10,000 power, and that'll make it a little easier for you to guard.
Okay. Yep, we will do that.
Okay, so you are now at 10,001.
10,001.
Yes, this is very funny. So this is going to be 28, and this has an ability when it boosts a grade 2 or greater. I have the option to soul charge a card, which I will. And that is actually exactly what I needed. So this is going to be 28.
28.
So you will need 18,000 at least to guard it. So if you had any triggers in your hand, you can play that with like an additional 5,000 shield, and that should help you out.
Which is what I will do.
Okay, so that'll guard that attack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so those will go to the graveyard. Then, let's see. I'm going to attack with this. I will counterblast 1. It gains 10,000 power, and at the end of the battle, I put it into my soul. So that's 23 plus 10, so that's 33.
And you are attacking Vanguard?
Yes.
I will take that.
Okay, so you will take your damage.
No trigger.
Okay, end of battle. This goes into my soul, and I will pass it over to you.
Okay. Stand.
Alright. So, for reference, you are capable of rewriting from your hand. You can only ride grade 3s or greater. But if you ride another copy of Leonorn, you will get the Persona ride ability.
Okay. So these extra 3 cards that I don't have in the deck.
Those are supposed to be in your deck, yes.
All right, cool. Are those are supposed to be in my actual deck or in?
Those are supposed to be in your actual deck, so you're supposed to like draw into them.
That explains the missing cards. Yeah. All right. That explains that. Okay.
This is very awkward.
Yeah. That makes so much more sense now. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, so I did not notice that you did not put them in your deck.
Yeah, I thought they were just spares.
No.
No. Okay. To soul charge, can you discard anything that's in your hand and soul charge it, or do you need a special?
You need to have an ability that lets you soul charge. So you'll notice every time I've been putting cards into my soul, it's been by a card ability.
Got it. I am not going to chart or play anything. I'm just going to go straight into attacking.
Okay, so are you going to use Leonorn's ability?
I do not have any cards under her.
You don't?
No, should I?
Wait.
When I moved my grade 1
you took
character,
out soul. You didn't use the grade 2 though, so you should still have 1 more soul, don't you?
Okay, when I moved my grade 1 down, I took the grade 0 with it. Should I have not have done
No,
that?
that stays. The grade
Okay.
0 stays in your soul, so you should still have
All
one
right.
more soul at least.
Then I will do that, and I will use that soul
Mm-hmm. And
to
then you're
charge,
going to
and
boost with all of them.
yes,
Did you also discard a card from your hand?
I have now discarded a card from my hand.
Okay, so you will have the triple drive, and it's some huge number, and I'm just going to take it. I'm at 2 damage.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that one has a draw.
Yes, so you can
So
give any of your units 10,000 power and draw a card. There is no reason to
Okay.
put it on the Vanguard because it is already hitting.
It is already hitting. Okay. Then I'm going to... We will apply that to Clapping Dragon.
Okay. I will take my damage. It is not a trigger.
And I get to draw a card right now.
Yes, you get to draw a card.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay. And you're not defending, so then I will...
Yeah. Then at the end of the battle,
Yeah.
you get to restand them.
Yep. And then I will go into attacking with Clapping Dragon, which has the buff as well as boost it.
Okay, so that is quite large. So that would be 23 plus 8, so that's 31 to my 13. Yes. I will also take that one. Damage check.
Okay. The Clapping Dragon has twin drive ability. What does that mean?
You only perform drive checks on the Vanguard.
Right, so if a standard card has it, what does that mean?
Absolutely nothing. Just
okay.
All grade 3s typically have twin drive as standard. So if for some reason you decided to ride it, it would perform a twin drive.
Okay.
So I took that one because it is quite large, and that leaves you with one more attack.
Okay, Tell me if the thought process here is good or if it is not. I don't have very high attack in this column at this point. So
yes.
If I attack it, I'm giving you the opportunity to
guard.
Yes,
but that could still pressure me just to like play cards from my hand.
Okay.
So typically, you're trying to deal the 6 damage and win. So if you have the option to like get an attack, you would want to.
All right. Then we'll do that.
Okay.
So that 8,000 plus
8. So that's 16.
Yeah.
To my 13. So I will intercept.
Okay. And that will end the turn.
Alrighty. I will stand and I will draw. So first I'm going to play this card again. So I will counterblast 1. Look at my top 3. I'm gonna end up soul charging all of my triggers just to like just so I can keep resolving Jeweled, and I honestly if this game goes on any longer I will actually just deck out. Alrighty. So soul charge 3 and then I get to draw a card. Look, I've drawn like all my triggers. Fun. And I will call this dude. So, I will attack with Jeweled. I will use his ability, Soul Blast 1, 2, 3, and 4, with different grades. So, your power is reduced to 1, and I gain a critical. So, this is going to be 21 with a critical again, to your 1. So, you'll need at least 22, and then I still have the potential for triggers, assuming there are any left in my deck.
Explain the concept of Sentinel.
Okay, so a Sentinel, you'll see that it has an ability. When you play it on the guard circle, you can choose one of your units and it cannot be hit, and then you have to discard a card to pay for it. So, by putting down a Sentinel, you would be able to completely stop my attack at the cost of 2 cards.
At the cost of 2 cards from the playing or 2 cards from my deck?
From your hand, so you would play down a Sentinel, and then you would discard a card to pay for it.
Okay. Then I will use that, and I will discard...
Okay.
One, discard one or discard two?
You discard one.
Discard one.
I'm just saying it's 2 cards overall because you had to play the Sentinel as well.
Got it.
So, drive check 1, nothing. Drive check 2, nothing. This is my turn. Okay, and then now I will attack you for 18. I'll soul charge 1. How am I so good at this game? So this is going to be 18 to your 1.
Okay, I'm going to defend with Prominent Elf and B area. So that is 20,001.
Okay. And then I will attack. So this is going to be 31 to your Vanguard. And don't forget to retire your 2 guards.
Yep.
So, yeah, this is 31 to your Vanguard.
Okay. So
And this goes into
I
my
got
soul.
another off that damage I did get
You got a trigger?
trigger, yeah.
Which trigger is it?
Prominent Elf minus 1,000.
Is that the 10k to your
Or
front
10,
row?
yeah, minus 10k.
Or plus 10,000?
Or sorry, plus 10k. Yeah.
To your front row. So that doesn't really matter here because the attack already hit, but that goes into your damage. Okay. And that is the end of my turn. So you're at 4 damage now?
I am at 5 damage because I have my 1 that's turned over.
Okay. All right. Pass it over to you.
You are at 4?
I'm at 4. Yes.
Okay. Then I will stand everything. Draw.
I will just top. I do not have an extra.
Okay.
That's rough. Okay.
I'm going to attack with Vanguard. I cannot use the ability, but I can
boost.
So
that's 13 plus 13, so that's 26.
Yeah.
I will just perfect guard this.
Okay.
This card is basically useless.
I get my 2.
You got a heal trigger, so
Yep. So
you can heal a card and then give something 10,000 power.
I will give the let's see. We'll give the 10,000 to B area.
Okay.
And I will attack with B area.
So that's 26.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll take this one. Damage check, no trigger.
Okay.
And then your other column.
And I'll attack with that. 13,
21.
8, and 21.
Okay. And I'll guard it.
Okay.
Righty. Stand and draw. Call this. Okay, let's see if I can top deck really well. So I'm going to swing for 18.
You're going to swing for 18.
And then I can soul charge 1. I did not soul charge well. Unfortunate.
Okay, so you're at 18.
So yeah, this is 18 to your 13.
Okay. I will guard.
Okay.
That's 15. It's 13, 28.
Yep. Okay. So that is enough. That was my rear guard.
Okay.
And then I will boost for 21. And this is from my Vanguard, so I will get drive checks.
I'm going to perfect guard it.
Okay. So, drive check 1, no trigger. Nice. Drive check 2, draw trigger. I will give the power here, and I will draw a card. And then this is going to be 28 to your Vanguard.
I'll take it.
Okay. That doesn't look like a trigger. So that is your turn.
Okay. Stan.
Draw. Okay. For reference, you can choose to summon over your existing cards if you wanted to get something bigger on the field.
Okay. It's good to know, but I am not going to do that.
Alrighty.
And I will again attack at the Vanguard.
For 26.
And boost it for 26.
Alright. So this is going to be 28. Plus another 50. So this is going to be 43. So
Okay.
you're at 26. That's 2 to pass.
Okay. That is a plus 1,000 and
Is
draw
that the
a
front
card.
trigger?
How do you tell if it's a front trigger?
It will say it.
When revealed as a trigger, draw a card, then choose one.
Okay, so that's a draw trigger. So where do you want to apply the power?
I'll apply it.
So
I can apply it to the attacking.
yes, and that will increase the power. So if you got a second
Yes.
trigger, you would break through my guard.
Yep, I will do that.
Okay. And drive check
do I draw immediately?
Yes, you
or do
draw
I-
immediately.
Okay.
And then you perform your second drive check. Nice.
Which, again, I'll do the same and empower.
Yep. So that puts
Top
you at
decking at its
46, which
finest.
breaks my guard. Right, so... Alright, GG's.
Top decking at its finest.
Yep. I mean, that's how this game goes.
Yep.
Oh, that was out of heals anyways.
The second time around, it definitely made a lot more sense than the first time around.
Yes. And
Uh,
the only hiccup was you just forgot to put any extra copies of your grade 3 in your deck.
I thought they were extras. They were stored in the as this, combined into the ride deck portion of it. So
they were not.
Whoops.
Yeah. It's okay, because I never drew a Persona ride this whole game.
Well,
So it
all
works
right.
out.
Now I know.
So yeah.
It's supposed to be in the deck. That explains the missing cards.
Yep. So yeah, what did you think of Vanguard overall?
Of the card games I played, especially with this deck, it was fairly easy to pick up.
Mm-hmm. And did you feel that, like, the additions that they made to be a little more, like, new player friendly, did those help you out at all?
I will say the most helpful thing was not only it was a pretty simplistic deck,
Mhm.
which was nice, but honestly, just having the cheat sheet down here on what things are, so I
Yeah.
can look them up. Other than that, even with the helpful, the trainer cards, I still needed to ask, especially like what does boost mean? What is
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
can't even find the card anymore. The guard, the intercept.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So-
that is one problem with them, is like, yes, it is nice that you have them, but that's why we ask the new players what they think, is because, like, yeah, you mentioned that you didn't really draw into them, so if
Yeah.
you needed to know what those did, they weren't really accessible to you.
Right. So I mean, having the trainer cards, and now that I know what they do, it pretty much tells you exactly what it's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just in implementation or playing it during the game, it definitely wasn't. It didn't feel as intuitive, just because honestly it was all new, language at this point, new terms that I didn't really have a good baseline on.
Mm-hmm.
But especially after the second game, it was definitely pretty comfortable.
Okay. And then one last question, because this came up when we were talking about the main sets. So these grade 3s that we have in these trial decks are downgraded versions of the same cards that are going to be in the main booster set. So, for example, your Leonorn, if you were to buy D Booster Set 6, which is the upcoming one, then you're going to get a different version of Leonorn that has a more powerful ability. So the basic thing where it like boosts with your entire back row, that is the same.
Hmm.
However, you'll notice it has two abilities. One of them is just like if it is a booster, it gains an additional 5,000 power.
Yeah.
So the main set version of that does not have that. Instead, it has an ability to like counterblast one, and you can draw a card and either call something from your hand or discard a card.
Okay. So they
So
just kind of made it a little more simplistic on the
yeah, so
trainer.
I'm wondering, like, as a new player, how do you feel about like not having the quote unquote real version of the card? Because, you know, this is kind of a downgraded, simplified version. Do you feel like you would prefer to have that in the trial deck, or are you okay with that being in the main set and having to, like, pull for it or pay extra to buy singles?
From yeah, it's kind of I think it's a two-edged blade at
Mm-hmm.
that point. It's nice because from a learning standpoint, it does kind of simplify the
Mm-hmm. Like,
game a
less
little bit. It's just
information.
one less thing to have to try to keep track of.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, if you were to plan on really getting into this as a first deck, it would kind of be unfortunate if you had to you got the trainer deck and immediately had to turn around and try to either pull it in a gotcha pack or pay more to
Mm-hmm.
actually get a playable
Yeah.
not so much a playable, it's playable, but
Yeah,
a more
but, you know,
competitive deck.
in this case, it's like an objective upgrade, right?
Yeah, yeah. So learning standpoint, it's nice that it's more simple.
Mm-hmm.
From a competitive standpoint, it's unfortunate that you do have to go out and get the upgrade.
All right. Alrighty. You know, thank you for that. I just kind of wanted to get a new player perspective because, you know, when we were talking about it on our podcasts, you know, one of the things that came up is that this is supposed to be a new player product. And so
Hmm.
maybe as a veteran player, we don't have someone like me wouldn't necessarily have the perspective on it because, you know, I wasn't particularly into that decision. I thought that, like, it kind of sucks that these trainer decks are a little bit throwaway. Actually, I think the expansion cards were pretty well designed. Some of the cards in here are actually like pretty powerful and will last into the main set once it comes out. Like the grade 3 you played,
Hmm.
Clapping Dragon, at least for
Yeah, that
initial
was.
builds of the deck, I was using that. For Drajul, this guy that can look at like your top 3 and put something into Soul, that's pretty important for being able to consistently maintain 4 different grades. So I like that these expansion packs kind of help boost the deck out of the gate. So if you did want to get into the game more competitively, you could make some selective upgrades. It's a little unfortunate that they didn't give you full playsets of these cards because, you know, I would definitely want to be playing 4 of this. You probably want to be playing 4 Clapping Dragon at the moment.
Yeah, but then again, if you are learning and you have another friend who's also in the same position trying
Mm-hmm.
to get into it, and you both have starting decks, and it's definitely enough to get
Yeah.
the hang of it, get into it. It's just if you're going to go up playing someone who has been following for a
Mm-hmm.
long time,
6 years.
you'll yeah, you'll definitely have some shortcomings if they're playing their own
Yeah.
deck as opposed to like you were playing with another beginning deck. So
Mm-hmm.
it didn't feel like I was at any yeah,
It didn't feel
the deck
particularly
itself.
one-sided.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't feel at any specific disadvantage just due to decks.
Yeah. See,
So,
which is a really good thing that this came on time because otherwise I would have had to actually play one of my constructed decks to make this video.
ooh, yeah. But no, it was definitely fun. I enjoyed it.
All right, that is good. I'm glad that you had a good time with this.
Yeah, you said there was a Steam game coming out of it soon, right?
Yes, so on November
Good TM.
17th, Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days is a Steam version of the game. So it's not quite like Master Duel. It is going to be more of like a story game that has a multiplayer element. So on
Okay.
release, it's only going to have the first 5 sets, which doesn't actually cover this trial deck or any of the related support. Funny
Hmm.
enough. But yeah, that will be coming out November 17th. Not an ad.
I mean, this has definitely done a good enough job of
Hmm.
introducing me to the point where I would definitely
Yeah.
consider looking into it.
Yeah, if you had the time and energy to play an actual paper card game, like,
It
would this product have gotten you into it if you had just, like, picked it up off the street and I didn't, like, dump it on you?
Honestly, yeah. Most of the issues I do have with card games is just having no digital way of playing it,
Mm-hmm.
or very few. It's gotten better recently, especially with the new Yu-Gi-Oh game that came come out.
Yeah.
Magic has their own game at this point, but a couple of years back, when I was starting to really get into it, your options were not great except going out to play with at a physical location,
Mm-hmm.
which I was not the biggest fan of.
Yeah. I would be
But
perfectly fine going to locals if there was one in any kind of convenient place near me.
yeah, so I mean, I would definitely, if I were into going to physical meetups to play, this would definitely be something I would look into.
Mm-hmm.
I'd usually just stick to the digital side of things,
Mm.
but it's definitely done enough to get me at least interested in the Steam version of the game.
That is good. Always good to have new players. Well, thank you for helping me out with this project, Chris.
Yeah, no problem.
Alright, and then I'll just, like, edit in all our patron shoutouts later. I don't feel like doing that right now. Thank you to our $10 patrons, Darren, Josh, Cole, Jeremy, and GR. If you would like to support our show, $5 gets you a whole-ass bonus show, $10 gets you 1 day early access to our videos, as well as a shout-out like I did just now. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at Nexus at Night. You can follow me at Plasma Eclipse. You can follow Atlas at Atlas Novak, and you can follow Matt at Wiggums 2Gs2G. Holy crap, how did I get that wrong? At Wiggums 2Gs2Zs. We have a promo card at night at 50cards.shop for 5% off your order. We also have merch, link in the description, assuming the links aren't broken for some reason. Thank you for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.